There are 5 things that you need to have a successful Facebook ads campaign. Let's get into it. Before we do, I'm Adam Katz for DogTrainerToolbox.com. Over the past 8 or 9 years, I've run probably well over 150 ad campaigns for dog training business owners. I run Facebook ads now because I find you can get results that are twice as good for about half the price than you can with pretty much anything else at this point in time. If you'd like to learn more, head on over to DogTrainerToolbox.com and click on the box that says Facebook ads for dog trainers. Adam runs Facebook ads. If you're already on this page, I'm going to jump right now into the 5 things that you need to have a successful Facebook ads campaign for your dog training business. Number 1, you need to commit to A/B testing your ads. That means you run half your ads with one headline, half your ads with another headline, and see which one does best. You run half the ads with one image, run half the ads with another image, and you see which image works best. You do the same thing with an offer and a variety of different factors until you get to a point where you just have an unbeatable ad that you can use in your Facebook ads campaigns. Now, if you work with me, I've already got ads that have already been A/B tested in a variety of different markets and are ready to rock and roll from day one. So it's one less factor that you need to test when you're starting out to run a Facebook ads campaign. Point number 2 is what types of campaigns should you be running with Facebook? Now, there are about 9 different types of Facebook ads campaigns. I typically will run either a lead ad or a traffic ad, and more I'm running just lead ads because most dog trainers don't have a website that's really set up to convert the traffic from Facebook ads as well as just using a lead ads. And we can go into what is a lead ad at another time, but it's basically a form that pops up that's still part of the Facebook ecosphere, and it captures their information, which leads to point number 3 is that you need to have a consistent follow-up sequence to what we call work the leads. That means that the lead comes in, a lot of times they're busy, they're at work, they can't necessarily talk right then and there. Maybe they're driving, maybe they're messing with the baby, but they're on their phone and they submit their information. When you call them back, it's obviously best to call them back as soon as possible, but sometimes they won't pick up right then and there. So you need to call them back again, maybe a few times, as well as follow up by email and text. You know, a lot of, especially Gen Z, Gen Alpha, whatever the millennials, whatever they're called, they don't like talking on the phone, so you're going to need to initiate contact through text. What I recommend is a follow-up sequence. On day 1, day 3, and day 5, you call them, you email, and you text. On day 2 and day 4, if you're not going to call them, at least email and text. I recommend that you use a CRM like PetBiz Experts or Go High Level or some type of CRM that will help you to automate the follow-up with the leads, because follow-up is so important. You can convert 30 to 40% more of your leads if you have a dedicated follow-up sequence. If you're going to hire somebody to run your ads, hire somebody like me, for example, don't believe this nonsense that it takes 2 or 3 or 4 or 6 or 10 months to get a campaign up and running. If you do it right, because let's face it, all ad campaigns are a test, be it Google ads or Facebook or postcards or whatever you're doing. It's always a test. Every market's different. Otherwise, we just roll out the same thing and everybody would be successful from day one. So you're committing to a test. Here's the thing with Facebook ads, if you do it right, you'll know by the end of the first 30 days whether or not you have a winning campaign. So you don't need to invest tens of thousands of dollars over a period of months to know if you've got a winner. By the end of the first 30 days, you'll know, does it make sense to continue running the ads, or if not, shut it down and deploy the money into something else. Point number 4 is how much should you be paying for your Facebook leads? In my experience, it's generally 30 to 70% less than you'd pay for Google Ads leads in the same market, right? So, but dollars and cents, what does that mean? Well, I can tell you overall average, pulling from running Facebook ad campaigns for dog training businesses nationally in a variety of different markets, we're looking at right now about $20 per lead, the average, meaning maybe that's median. Half or less, half or more. So I've got a lot of clients that are paying anywhere from $8 to $11 per lead. But then I've also got clients in very competitive markets who might be paying more, anywhere from $25 to $30 and up. Just depends on the individual market and their ad spend budget. An ad spend budget is important too, because sometimes it scales, which means that the more you spend, the less you pay per lead, and sometimes it doesn't. So that's something that also needs to be tested. You need to have somebody that's competent that understands these things, which leads into point number 5, going with an agency versus a sole provider, just like myself. So the benefits to going with an agency, the way that I see it, is for the most part, if you're going to have or you want to have everything completely in-house. So your Facebook ads, your Google ads, your website, your CRM, your sales training, your XYZ, everything else, then it might make sense to spend more money and go with an agency. Whereas if you go with an individual sole proprietor like myself, and I've been on both sides, I've had an agency and I've done it like I'm doing it right now myself, is that it saves you typically 50 to 60% on the management than if you went with an agency. The reason for that is that you don't have to pay for 3 levels of management: the owner, the salesperson or customer service support, and the technician. So when you're dealing with a sole provider just like me, typically dealing with a higher caliber of actual manager, actual technician, because it's one and the same, and we're able to deliver the service for a little bit less than you would be paying otherwise. So it ends up benefiting the client in a couple of ways. The downside to going with a sole proprietor individual is whether or not your personalities mesh, and also whether or not that person has any openings. I can only at any given time manage between 12 and maybe 25 different accounts. So if I've got somebody in your market, you may have to wait and go on my waiting list before I can help you. Whereas if you work with a bigger agency that has multiple technicians, maybe they'll be able to help you. The downside is that there's typically one ad that will outperform the others. And so if you're the second or third client in that market, you may be getting seconds or sloppy thirds. So the way that I do it to prevent that is basically when my clients work with me, they're paying for the territory, whether or not they have me run ads in that territory or not. But typically they have me run ads, right? So I can't run ads for another dog trainer, which means that I'm exclusively yours. Hey, if you'd like to learn more, if you're already on the page at dogtrainertoolbox.com, you can scroll down and use the sign up form to schedule a call with me so that we can get you signed up and get a campaign running. Again, within 30 days, you'll know if you have a winner. Typically, we're seeing return on investment of between 7 to 9 times what you're spending. So every dollar you're spending, you should be getting back 7 to 9 times, $7 to $9 back. At a minimum, I want you to get 3 times, because if you're just doubling your money, you're working too hard to pay Mark Zuckerberg. Hey, I'm Adam Katz for DogTrainerToolbox.com. We'll talk to you soon, guys.